My name is Michael Blasco from Blue Fool Games, and I'm going to open up the final proof copy of my Relic Trader board game for everyone's review. This is the box here, Relic Trader. It is a 4x8 box. Here is the back. I'll take pictures along the way. The Relic Trader board game is meant to simulate being in 14th century London during the plague times, making and selling fake relics to gullible people in order to bribe your way onto the seat of a local church. The game is meant for up to 4 people. It is historically based and includes a set of documentation describing the historical experience. When you open up the box, here are the pieces and the cards. To start off with, here are the shards representing the shilling coins that you're attempting to win. We also have some plus and minus signs for valuing and devaluing the relics themselves. These will go here. Here are the cards of the game itself. There are 2 different types of cards. You have action cards and relic cards. The relic cards are actually based historically on 1st, 2nd, and 3rd class relics and pardons. And each of the relics has its own shilling value. 1st class relics are the most valuable, 3rd class are the least valuable, and pardons are the cheapest of all. It is assumed that everyone playing these cards is a fraud. That is the purpose of the game. The other cards that we have, the action cards, are each individual instruction cards that you either use immediately or save for later use. And they're all based on historical precedents, meant to be humorous. So those get divided into 2 piles. Here's the game board. The board, once laid out, is a 12x12 space with a 4x4 gap in the center. That is accomplished by taking the 4 individual game boards, each indicating a different section of London, and laying them out with the corners. The arrangement is also shown on the back of the game box itself. There are instructions on each corner to show which piece it connects up to in that direction. So here's the layout of the board. Here are the various pieces. There is meant for 4 players, so there is 1 colored piece for each player. And in addition to the 4 players, there's also a church piece for each player, because your home base will also be where your home church is. The entrances are all located, the gates are all the entrances where your character starts off and where your home church is based. So as each player chooses which gate they enter, their church is placed on their location. And that's where they'll return to as they go along in the game. Here we are, Billings Gate. And there's also an additional black figure, which is Death, to indicate the plague passing through town. And he starts in the section called God's Acre, which is the cemetery. He takes 1 turn at the end of the round, the same as everyone else. He rolls the black die versus the white die for the regular players. Each player starts off with 1 relic, which I'll go ahead and lay out before me for appearance. So the first relics that they get is a pardon for the blue player, a 3rd class relic, the oil of Shrine of St. Remigius, for red. Yellow player gets the wood from the True Cross 1st class relic, and the green player gets a 2nd class relic, the teeth from the Dragon of St. George. Now as they go, they want to land on various locations. The large squares in the middle of each spot are markets where they're able to sell their relics. The corner squares are spots where they're able to gather at the St. Paul's Cathedral, God's Acre Cemetery, and the back alley. And in this corner over here, we have the Tower of London. Anytime a player rolls a 6 while they're trying to acquire or sell a relic, can get arrested and sent to the Tower of London prison. So if the blue player were to go first, he got a 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. He reaches East Cheap Street, draws an action card, which says Tough Deal. Force player to trade one relic of your choice with you. Save this card for later use. So I save that. Each player can see each other's relics, so I could make a trade right now, but I'm going to save it until I'm at a point where I might actually be selling the relic so nothing can happen to it before that happens. Now, as the gameplay goes through, each player will move according to their turn. If you land on a location with somebody else's church, you're required to deposit 1 shilling to indicate you're making a tithe to their home church. And if you land on your own church, you collect 1 shilling. At the moment, nobody has any shillings, so the player gets to leave without damage, but he also draws a card. He gets a card, The End is Near, where you may sell 1 relic right now. And since he has a 3rd-class relic, he's going to go ahead and do that. Now, as he's attempting to sell a relic, you'd roll 1 die. If he rolls a 1, he is arrested. Any other roll is a successful sale. He got a 6, so he's successful. And the value of a 3rd-class relic is 2 shillings. So he ends up with 2 shillings right there. Now, in order to sell another relic, he needs to gather 1 from somewhere else on the board. The green player gets a 5. Sorry, the yellow player is next. Who shows up on the green player's church. The options here, if you land another player, is you have the option of attempting to pickpocket them, which means you roll against them to steal 1 relic or 1 shilling. I'm going to go ahead and do that because the green player has a 2nd-class relic worth 3 shillings, so I'm going to roll the white die for the assaulter, the pickpocket, and the green die for the black die for the green player, the defender. The higher roll wins. If the perpetrator rolls a 1, he is arrested. If the defender rolls a 1, nothing happens. If it is a tie, the defender keeps his relic. Right there, the green got a higher roll, so he keeps his relic. However, nobody rolled a 1, so there is no arrest. And now for the green player's turn, he gets a 3, which is 1, 2. He lands at St. Paul's Cathedral. This is a location where you do not draw a card, you can gather. You roll 1 die, on a 5 and a 6 you gather a relic, and if you succeed in gathering a relic at this location, it gets a +1 value. So I'll roll for that. He got a 2, so he did not successfully gather a relic. And now that it's the end of the turn, the death character rolls. He got a 1, which means he moves here. No player is touched by him, so everybody is safe for this round. If somebody does land on the relic, on the death character, they are sent to God's Acre and must leave 1 shilling. If they land on him, they must also go to God's Acre and leave 1 shilling, if they have it. Any player who lands on the God's Acre location without being sent there by death can collect any shillings that have been left there. The play continues in this fashion until the first player reaches 13 shillings, which is the goal of the game. After that, you have successfully managed to acquire the proper bribe needed to get a position at St. Paul's Cathedral, and you may accept bribes for the rest of your career. This is Relic Trader. My name is Michael Blasco. I am the owner and founder of Blue Fool Games, and I hope you enjoy my video. Thank you.